let's say you have a friend or a family member and you think you've gotten it all figured out, and then they surprise you. Don't forget that personal, detailed New Year's readings are available on my website at amaliatarot.com. So if you're interested in getting your New Year's reading, or if you'd like to purchase one for somebody else, perhaps as a present, then you can book the reading on my website. If you'd like to ask for more information, you can email me. Now, without any further ado, we are going to dive into this simple New Year's reading where we're going to look at the general tendency. So now we're interested to see where we are going, we as a community, we, humanity as a whole. What is the direction? So this is for everybody who is watching this video. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to pull 4 cards, okay? And this is something, if you're interested in using the tarot or learning the tarot, or if you do readings for yourself, you can try this as well. But this is very simple. So what we're going to do is we're pulling 2 cards to express the energy of what is being left behind. So what is something that you're no longer taking with you, that we are not carrying with us to the new year? And 2 cards are going to respond to that. All right. And 2 cards to tell us about the new focus. So focus is shifting, new things, new directions are emerging. Let's find out what those are. So 2 more cards. So like I said, this is a relatively simple reading type, but there are many different versions of the New Year's reading. We have the quarterly New Year's reading where we pull 1 card for each year quarter, and it's also possible to do a monthly breakdown where we pull a card for each month of the upcoming year, so you can prepare for what is coming or kind of see where things are headed. Okay, so 1 and 2. Okay, so now let's have a look. So here are the energies that we are leaving behind. And this is the 5 of Wands and the Knight of Cups in the same sentence, in one breath. And to be honest with you, these 2 cards at least in my mind, they connect very organically, even though the Knight of Cups belongs to the water element and the Five of Wands is fiery. But still, there's this underlying contentious energy which is really hard to grapple with. So thankfully, this is something that we're phasing out. Okay. And what is the new direction? The Star and the Six of Cups. How beautiful is this? Okay. So it's as though progress in this instance is actually expressed not by making progress chronologically or forwarding, in time in the old-fashioned traditional sense, but it seems as though a stepping back or a type of regression is the true backbone of our advancement here. Now, I know that sounds a bit blurry, but let me try and elaborate. So, the Knight of Cups and the Five of Wands, they come together to create the impression of angsty adolescent energies that are really hard to please. There's a restlessness, a combative, hostile, competitive edge alongside with this really dreamy and emotionally sensitive character, the Knight of Cups, who is instantly dragged and pulled and pushed around by his own emotional mechanism, which he hasn't yet fully mastered. In the Cups suit, the Queen or the King of Cups would represent the higher levels of emotional regulation. The Knight of Cups has reached some level of autonomy, but is still inexperienced and unskilled at how he's able to keep things together. So there's this entropy, this disintegration of experience, of perception, and a lack of integration of energies, especially emotional energies. So that, combined with the Five of Wands, is arrogance, cockiness. That's a dangerous combination, and we're phasing that out. So it's as though we're leaving behind our teenage years to make progress, and we are not progressing into adulthood, but instead the Star and the Six of Cups are suggesting to me that true progress here is stripping away and shedding some of these layers of speculative, manipulative, health adult-like behaviors which are not fully developed. They are not fully mastered, and therefore they are dangerous, and they cause you and us, they cause us a lot of trouble. So this is, I guess we could say that this is knowledge which is not applied properly information or a level of power which is used irresponsibly and without accountability and without a strong vision of where things should be, based on impulsive tendencies that are really anchored to the ego instead of what would be ideal for the greater good of everything and everyone. So that's the Knight of Cups and the Five of Wands. And so with the Six of Cups, there's a backpedaling or a backtracking, seemingly, to a much earlier state, a more infantile, a much more naive, open, receptive, and innocent time when emotions were not yet tainted by high expectations and hormones running rampant and the ideas of power and desire and a desperate quest to find happiness, which the Knight of Cups is pretty much entangled in all of that. The Six of Cups, on the other hand, is moving without preconceived notions. It's raw and pure perception, akin to how children see the world around them and how they are excited and electrified and enthused by the smallest, most trivial little miracles that we adults and teenagers tend to overlook. So this is a moving back in time in that sense, chronologically retrieving the advancements that we've made and returning to a previous stage where purity of action and feeling were present. And this is a type of divine cosmic child, not an ordinary child that throws a tantrum in the shopping mall or something like that. This is more along the lines of the never-ending curiosity and somewhat frameless ability to interpret things that are more like in liquid form, yet undefined, unarticulated. It's the way of perception or the way of cognition that is typical of young children who have not yet adopted the rigid categories that we grown-ups work with. So on the one hand, it's this emotional purity that is coming to the forefront. And then with the Star, which is a major arcana card, the uniqueness, the originality, the idiosyncrasy of the individual, of each individual, how dazzlingly different we all are, how each person is a universe to its own, how it's a complete mysterious world, which at first glance we might think that we know one another and that there's nothing more to explore. Let's say you have a friend or a family member and you think you've gotten it all figured out, and then they surprise you. And this sort of sophisticated but very unpretentious energy, the energy of the core, shines through, and that's the essence of the star. The relentless diversity of human beings, despite the fact that when we form a crowd, it may give you the impression that we become kind of like a faceless beast that's very dangerous and acts on instincts and tends to become aggressive and all that. But once you break it down, once you zoom in, you can see the many colors, the many different forms and variations, and revel in this. So that's the message of the star. So let me pull another card to give you some advice. It's obvious that we are moving towards a stage that is more humanistic, more peaceful, much more ready to hear the voice of the individual. So, what then is the advice? And so here's the Four of Wands. So that's the prelude to the Five of Wands, right? Which the Five of Wands represents a conflict and a litigious environment, and just a general sense of quarrelsome and disquieting circumstances. And then the Four of Wands is about the focus on community, finding that harmonious, synchronized movement with your fellow human beings. And I know this sounds like these are big words, but truly, this is a message that you can enact locally in your community, the people who live nearby, people that you are in daily contact with. You don't have to think in terms of this big umbrella that we can globally fit under humanity, as a whole. That's way too big for us to be able to figure out or imagine even. So think locally and look for opportunities to have that communal spirit awakened within yourself and within other people. That's your strong suit, your ability to evoke enthusiasm in your own heart and in the heart of others. As we move into the new year of 2025, authenticity, honesty, and a sort of genuine wanderlust is becoming more prevalent in all of us. So the Four of Wands is asking you to utilize these newborn or these newfound energies to your advantage, to the advantage of all of us. Use the opportunity to connect and to organize, to bring people together, and to have that celebration of the uniqueness of the individual, and to do so in a group setting, which is a weird kind of paradoxical statement, but truly it's kind of like a carnival. The image of a carnival comes up when I see the Four of Wands. Each performer, each participant has a very different look, so it's not like an army marching in uniforms, where the message is that there's no individual identity here. We're all one, and there's this threatening aura to how we present ourselves. So a carnival is very different than that. There's all this silliness. There's all these quirky, original, weird, bizarre costumes that express the personality or the ideas of the person who designed or chose to wear that piece of clothing or the makeup or whatever. So this is obviously just me trying to explain to you, with the use of this metaphor, what I'm trying to bring to your consciousness. The idea that when people come together, it doesn't necessarily have to be a sort of intimidating experience, doesn't have to be the experience of the loss of your individuality. It can lift you up. It can strengthen your sense of uniqueness, and it can elevate your mood, and also it can elevate others as well. So I hope that you enjoy this reading. I wish you the best of luck for 2025. Please consider getting a New Year's reading for yourself or for your loved ones. This is a seasonal, limited offer. So obviously now is the New Year's event coming up. Now is New Year's Eve coming up. So now is the time to get it. And if you're interested, you can check out my website or ask me questions via emailing me. See you next time.